You know, you can argue all day long about who the king of the zombies is, whether it's Sam Raimi or Robert Kirkman or whatever. For our money, it's George A. Romero, and no movie typifies that better than Dawn of the Dead from 1978.
Yeah, in case your memory fails you, this is the one that takes place in the shopping mall in Pittsburgh. And what happens here is the zombie apocalypse has broken out, and this band of survivors decides to seek refuge in a shopping mall, which turns out to be brilliant. What they do is they find a store that's secure, then they go through and they clean out all the zombies. And so they're living in what appears to be some kind of postmodern utopia. Here they are, they're surrounded with everything they need. They've got access to all of these stores. They've got food, they've got guns, they've got gates on all the doors. And when I was a kid, I thought this was great. This is the best solution to surviving a zombie apocalypse. Of course, I'm gonna head right to the shopping mall. But then as I got a little bit older and more sophisticated, of course, this turns out to be some commentary on consumerism.
Absolutely.
And how we're all trapped by the things we buy. So
It's very much like the story that Capcom created with Dead Rising.
Well, Dead Rising wouldn't exist at
Absolutely.
all unless this movie existed. And there are so many great gory moments in this movie. Like there's one part where a chopper lands and a zombie starts walking towards them and he has to cross this barrier. And as he steps up on the barrier, the chopper actually just takes off the top of his head and he falls to the ground. And what Tom Savini and his team did with the special effects in this film is really something special. I mean, they're convincing every step of the way. And not only that, the film also benefits from that mid-70s realism that every film had. You know, films like Midnight Cowboy, which obviously came out in the late 60s, but is always lumped into the 70s. You know, it just had that authenticity and credibility that brings everything in this world to life. Even though the actors aren't the strongest actors you're going to see anywhere, you believe their performances. You almost feel like, at times, like you're watching a reality show with this film, and you really start rooting for these people. Of course, things go wrong. Zombies do eventually get into the shopping mall. They've got all kinds of problems, and the whole movie very boldly ends on a bleak note.
Yeah, and what's cool about this is that once again we see the theme and the storytelling and the ability of George A. Romero and his team to circumvent their obvious lack of a budget is really why this movie has resonated and why this thing has become so important over time. It's aspirational to watch something like this, where you see it and you can see the craft, you can see the tenacity, the people that are building all of this stuff. They're working their butts off to entertain us, and they defeat what would be a stumbling block for any other filmmaker out there.
Well,
you know, not having enough dough to make these things convincing. They said, screw that, we'll do the best that we can with what we have.
Public needs facts. What do you have to give us? They kill for one reason. They kill for food. They eat their victims.
Well, a little behind-the-scenes trivia. They actually shot this at night in a Pittsburgh shopping mall. And the way that he shoots the mall, just the moodiness, the eeriness. I mean, no one had ever seen a shopping mall after hours until you saw this movie, and you don't realize these places without people are incredibly, they're as creepy as any haunted house you've ever been in.
Absolutely, and you know, it has a little bit of that exploitation era edge as well, which is great, and obviously, you know, Pulp Fiction and some of the Robert Rodriguez movies have picked up on this as well. George A. Romero is a genius. I mean, he really kind of crafted a tone, and he's been so influential for so many filmmakers out there, and I think you can look and trace it right back to this film.
Don't open that door, baby. You'll leave him right up with you.
I think this realizes his vision better than any of his other films. It's certainly better than Night of the Living Dead, and it's better than Day of the Dead, which would follow this, and it's better than any of the movies he's made recently, although he's made some other good pictures over the years. Also, keep an eye out for the role played by Tom Savini, the longtime special effects artist and director in the film. He's actually a pretty good actor. We'll see. Dawn of the Dead, congratulations. You're number 80 in our list of the greatest movies of all time. Zombie Vic. Elite your games.